Alright guys, I lied. I had my time-lapse camera that it wasn't getting the video that I wanted. I didn't mean to. So I didn't want to kick off a fermentation without having everything set up for you. And here we are. Did it. Sorry, I lied. I will make it up to you, I promise. But unfortunately, you're not going to get to see the time-lapse this week like I promised. I have my time-lapse camera finally working. Hi guys, Chris the Non-Pro Wine Guy here. We are back this week getting ready to start some fermentation. Unfortunately, we had some road bumps along the way, some technical difficulties. This week has been a week of trial for me. I started off with trying to make my wine rack. It got about 30% done. And I found out that the rack that I was building into wasn't square, and so everything has had to be custom along the way. I recorded some video earlier, and unfortunately, I apparently don't know how to operate sound. So I got home and started editing it today and went in to do the sound. On Tuesday, the day before I promised I'd upload it to you guys, we had no sound on the video at all. I get to reshoot that video later. It was just a discussion piece, so don't worry about it. It will come back. As you can see, I've upgraded some lights, so hopefully you guys can see me a little better than you could last week. I also upgraded my sound, and hopefully that works out. We'll see. And we'll see how it kind of uploads to YouTube this time. I moved my fermentation station over here. We're going to do some time lapse in this part of the video where I'm going to show you how I get set up for wine, and then we're going to go into a real good discussion about fermenting and how to get it started. Like I said, I recommend that everybody who starts off making wine for the first time starts off with a wine kit. It's simple, it has directions right in there. I'm going to delete some of my directions because I don't like them. Now, I'm not going to give you a recommendation on brands today. If you need to get some advice on that, go ahead and shoot me a DM or a private message. I'll be happy to get back to you and get you some ideas of where to start. But in this video, I don't want to endorse anybody. So I'm going to recommend we start there. This is where I'm going to start today. I'm going to start with a wine kit. I'm going to show you how I test the juice, and then we're going to get the fermentation started. So let's start off with some cleaning of the winery real quick, and then we're going to get our juice ready.
So as you can see, when I start to clean up the winery, I start with the floor and I get everything really scrubbed down. And then I go into clean up every bit of the equipment that I use for the day. And then at the very end, you'll see I'll spray down the floor one last time to get every bit of bacteria out of the winery and keep things safe.
Alright guys, so we just finished up cleaning up the winery, and as you can see over here, what I've got is a simple pH meter that I bought off of Amazon for less than 10 bucks. Now, you want to make sure that you're able to test your wine, so a pH meter for 10 bucks is a great deal. This one here, I've got in a solution that I've got set to about 6 for my pH, and we are going to be able to then transpose that over into our wine and figure out exactly where our wine is going to end up. So take these notes early on, and they'll be good for you to compare against later on. Right now, it is calibrated. I've got 6.03 on my meter, and so it's time to get started on the juice itself. Okay guys, so here we are over in where we're going to the fermentation today, but normally our chemistry station. So I've got it all set up here. The instructions for this wine kit tell me to add the bentonite now. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off adding a little bit of water. It's right at room temperature. I'm going to add it to my fermenter. Over here I've got my water started for our starter, and that water is a little warmer. It's going to be in the 90 to 95 degree range. Right now it's a little high, so I'm letting it sit while I fill this up, and then we're going to start our starter. So here I've got my concentrate. I'll be adding it to our fermenter, and then we're going to be able to start our testing for chemicals to make sure that our pH and our free SO2 and our sugar is where we need it to be to get the alcohol that we want. So here we go. So we've got our concentrate with a little bit of water inside of our fermenter, and now it's time to test and see exactly how much sugar is inside of this stuff right here and figure out how much water we need to add. Now it tells me to fill up to the 6-gallon mark, but I'm not willing to do that just yet. I really want to be able to control how much alcohol we have. It's July. So I've added water to my concentrate. I've gotten the bricks down to right where I want, which is, right in that 15% alcohol range. And now it's time for me to start making my starter. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to take some warm water at about 90 to 95 degrees, and I'm going to add some DAP to it, which is yeast nutrient. And I'm going to throw my yeast in there, and I'm going to allow it to start to get really kind of started and rehydrated in there, and then I'm going to start adding a little bit of juice at a time every 15 minutes or so, and allow the yeast to really get used to the juice concentration. And then we're going to put that in there, and we are going to start our wine making for this batch. Other really cool thing about this guy right here is it's a thermometer. So right now it tells me that I am at 92 degrees, which is exactly where I want to be to start off this yeast. 1 pack of Lavin is good for up to 6 gallons, which means that this amount is perfect for what we're doing here. Don't mind that noise. And my yeast nutrient. So I've got my yeast and my yeast nutrient inside of the container, and the temperature is really good at 92 degrees. You want it rough, but that's a bluff. Now I'm trying. Okay, folks. So we got to wrap up real quick. I've got about 5% left on my battery on this camera. So while I was waiting for our starter to get started, and you saw there at the end, I had some problems with the first set of yeast, so I added some more, but you saw that it was really kicking off there at the end. So while I was doing all of that, I did a free SO2 test. I found out that there is 0 SO2 in this wine, which is fantastic. It's a good place for me to start. It means I know how much I need to add. And I went ahead and retested my bricks. I'm at 24 bricks now. And so I also added my DAP into the wine itself, and I added in some grape tannin. I added enough for what they recommend for fruit wine, which is about 3 tablespoons for the 6 gallons that I have here. So I'm going for something a little bit more tannic, and because it doesn't come with any grapes, this is my way to do that. One of the things I'm really going to be watching on this wine is the acid. I wasn't happy with where the acid ended up. So stay tuned. We're going to adjust the grape juice in, I guess, the wine as we go. And so now we're going to throw our starter in there. I'm going to wash up for the night, and I'm going to be done. So for next week, I'm going to try things a little bit differently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys a question and see what you want to see from me in the future. Would you rather see how to keep our yeast happy, healthy, and thriving, or would you like to know how I like to taste wine and take notes on it for when I go to tasting rooms and when I try new wines? So you let me know in the comments below if you want to see how to taste wine or how to make your yeast happy, healthy, and thriving. Until next week, cheers.